So, hi everybody. I've been procrastinating. I wanted to reply to Yardism's first question and I missed that. So, I'll start with the second one and then read what I wrote for the first one. I don't know how it'll come out. Anyway, so one of the questions he asked was if you could go back in history, specifically within the last 200 years, and witness any event, tragic, exciting, whatever, what would it be? And without thinking too hard and long, I think I would go back and witness, be part of the tearing down of the Berlin Wall. Sounds weird, I know, but I wanted to see like the reunification of these families. Like, we're talking like your sister lives down the street and all of a sudden you can't reach her for however long. And the people that got reunited at that point is what I was wanting to see and be a part of. So the bigger question was the first one, and that was, and I wrote it out, so for what it's worth, how would your life be different if your main positive influence had not been there? So I can think of a few positive influences in my own life, but one stands out the most. So I need to begin way back when I was about yay high, about 4 or 5. Mom was in the kitchen after church making lunch, and I was hanging out behind my dad's recliner. It was a quiet place that I'd found to consider serious realities and big girl dreams, right? I would go back there to think. And it was there that I decided to ask Jesus to be my personal savior. He had made me, after all, and he loved me more than anyone else could. He had given his life just for me. And it was just the two of us for a long time. And I tell my boys this often, that people in your life will come and go, but the only one who is with you from your very first breath to your very last is Jesus. I wouldn't learn that myself, in fact, until much later. So fast forward to college. I mean, I had what they call, fire insurance, accepted him into my life, but I wasn't exactly living for him. I mean, I went to church and participated in everything, but I was not actively growing and seeking and trusting and serving and learning. I had become, enamored by like the music world and the art world in college. And as, an eager apprentice, I mean, I became too close to the people I worked with, and I desperately wanted my friend to know and accept Jesus too. And I remember just holding him and weeping with an ache so strong. And he was unmoved. My life continued this way, sliding further and further. Just, it was too sad to ache this much. That's what it felt like. I was just aching for someone to know, because everyone else in my life, knew Jesus and we walked with him together. So it was like whenever I met and was good friends with someone who didn't, it was painful. It's painful. So for the most part, in my other relationships, I stayed pretty numb. I would soon discover IRC, the Internet Relay Chat, in the early 90s. I mean, this is before pictures. It was all text, of course. Here's where the direct trajectory shifted for me. I had developed a friendship with a guy in Alabama, and we started writing letters. And for years, we wrote letters, 7 years. And by then, we were talking on the phone too. But then that ache returned, and I desperately wanted him to know and accept Jesus. So I decided to make a cassette tape about random stuff. You know how you make a mixtape for somebody? Instead of music, it was kind of like a spoken letter, right? I said a few random things on there, and at the very end, I put what meant the most to me. And that was, I don't know if you know or believe in higher power or God or whatever, but he does exist. He made you, he loves you, and he made a way for you to be together with him forever. So I mailed it, didn't look back, and it was 3 full weeks later that I heard from my friend in Alabama, and this was a turning point for us both. I would soon find out. He did accept Jesus as the Lord of his life. He did come out to meet me in California, and we did get married. Since then, I have been a willing participant in the sanctification process. I was lost and now I'm found. I was saved, but had fallen into a ditch and needed the shepherd to come and gather me up in his arms again. Those strong arms are just right. He was there with me the whole time, grieving my weaknesses and aching with me for the way I had invested myself in others fruitlessly. So to answer Chad's question, it was him. If Chad had not come into my life, I would have continued on that very slippery slope to an immature adulthood. Chad, he lifts me up, he gets me, he puts up with my antics, and he gives me space. He knows me better than I know myself. He'll call me out on stuff that I don't even realize that I do, and loves me anyway, right? He loves me unconditionally, and in parentheses here I said, because if it were conditional, he'd have been long gone by now. So while Jesus is the only one who will have been with me from my very first breath to my very last and into eternity, it is Chad who has had the most positive influence in my life on a human level, the imperfect husband I'll never deserve. Without him, my life would look nothing like it is now. Chad, I love you forever.